So time kills all deals, right? And the need for speed in business funding. What does that actually mean? It means exactly what I'm going to explain to you here. And a lot of people think that it means that we're rushing. It means that we're moving too quickly. That is not the case. You'll see in the slides here. There's a saying that I've been saying for a long time. We move at the pace of the borrower. So what does that mean? That means that if you have borrowers that need money tomorrow, right? Today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, and they need to meet payroll on Friday. Well, Rock has the ability to do that. And how we've done that is we've created efficiencies where typically there's inefficiencies in the financing industry. Give me just 1 second. A couple months ago, I had a coughing attack on the webinar, so I'm trying to avoid that today. Um, So I appreciate that. But we want to remove all of the inefficiencies within the funding process that will allow us to then move extremely quickly, or like I mentioned, at the pace of the borrower, right? So before I get into today's topic, quick overview of myself. I'm Tony Semino, our VP of Business Development here. Basically, that means I am in charge of all of our referral partnerships and all of our lead generation. So if you get emails from us, you probably got my face on those emails. If you follow us on social media, you probably see me on social media. But just know I'm all about staying connected. This is my direct email here, so feel free to jot down the email address. You can reach me directly at tony@rock.biz. Might take me a little bit to get back to you because I might be on a webinar, but I'm definitely excited to get a chance to chat with all of you guys. When the opportunities present themselves. So feel free to take down my contact info, and would love to get a chance to chat with you guys in the future, about the deals that you're coming across, or the things that you're working on, right? So really quick, as we kind of get into the topic, I thought a good way to kind of get started with this webinar would be, let's work it a little backwards. A lot of times I save our success stories for the end of the presentation. Today I decided, let's put them at the front, right? So you guys can understand that, when a business is looking for funding, why would they need to move quickly, right? Well, here at the top, you see our food and beverage customer that was looking to get access to inventory, right? They had an event that was coming up. Their typical source for inventory for all the food that they typically prep and ultimately sell was not able to deliver, and all of a sudden they had to pivot to another vendor. When pivoting to another vendor, it was costing them 2 to 3 times as much as they would typically pay for specific items, right? So in this scenario, they needed to move quickly because they went from potentially going with one solution to having to pivot to another solution. That second solution was 2 to 3 times more expensive as the original one, so they didn't have the budget for it. And now here they are, just days before their event, and needing access to be able to get the funding so that they could take advantage of this opportunity and being at this event. You know what happens if you're somebody that's supposed to provide food for an event that then happens and there's no food there? Number one, somebody like me is extremely hangry at that event. But number two is you're probably not getting invited back the next year. Right. So when you're in these industries and you're making these decisions, the reason that these things are so important is because timing is everything. And if you're not able to deliver as a business owner, you're probably not getting that same type of business again, should that event come back around, or should that cycle return. Right. We had a construction company that was looking to meet payroll. They thought that they had some receivables coming in. Those receivables did not make it in, right, in time for them to be able to go pay their payroll this week, right? Well, that doesn't mean that those employees understand that, right? Employees want to get paid regardless, right? Their work is done. Just because you have to wait to get paid as the business owner doesn't mean that they should have to wait as employees, right? Well, what happens if you are somebody who doesn't pay your employees on Friday? You probably don't have much of a business on Monday. You might have one or two really dedicated employees that might show up because they need the money the following week, but the rest of them, they're walking off the job, right? So this is why the need for speed is so prevalent within commercial finance, is because business owners only need financing when there's a true need. right? At other points, like, I once heard a bank described as, banks give out money, banks give out umbrellas when the sun is shining, right? They don't give out, an umbrella on a rainy day, right? So how do business owners, when they actually have a need, get access to funding? It's through companies like Rock Financial, right? So we're gonna keep this thing going, and I did something really unique this time as we were planning out our webinar. We basically said to ChatGPT, "Hey, how long does it take to get money at your local bank for a small business, right?" And here is exactly what ChatGPT had to say. Just for review and underwrite, right? Your application and preparation is going to take a week or two. Your review and underwriting could be 2 to 6 weeks, and then from approval to funding, you're looking at like 1 to 3 weeks, right? I know when I bought my house, it took us like 2.5 months to get fully approved for the mortgage, and I'm in finance. I work in finance. If you don't think that I was firing documents back and forth as quickly as they possibly could, you got the wrong one, right? So when you look at alternative lending, right? This I didn't even ask ChatGPT for alternatives, but it brought up that if you needed funding more quickly, you need to look at alternative lenders who can typically get funding in 24 to 72 hours with much lighter requirements or much lighter, uh, you know, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, geez, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. With much lighter requirements. And that's going to bother me for the entire webinar, in case you were wondering. But I wanted you guys to see, like, hey, this isn't just us giving the information. You can go on ChatGPT and ask the same question. It's going to give you a very similar answer, probably a little different because your prompt might be a little different, but it is the answer. Oh, sorry. Now I'm going too fast. There we go. Back at it. Right. So like I mentioned, we move at the speed of the borrower, right? And when I say a business has a true need for financing, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about their use of the funding, right? The use of the funding is more prevalent than uh, any other factor when it comes to getting access to capital, right? A lot of times the use of the funding becomes the product that you actually end up servicing, right? You get a commercial real estate loan not when you need cash in your business, right? You get a commercial real estate loan to buy a property, refinance it, right? Like that's when you get a commercial real estate loan, right? If you were purchasing a piece of equipment, you go get equipment financing, right? So those are true needs within a business. I'm going to give you two categories. It's very easy to understand. It's when a business owner has an opportunity for growth or they are solving a challenge. Those are the two areas where businesses are going to need funding. So just look for those and those cycles within a business, and you'll be able to point out opportunities for funding left and right to the business owners that you're working with, right? But now that we have an understanding of why it's important to move quickly, now that we have an understanding of the needs of capital, right? What typically slows things down within funding, right? Because I wanted to highlight this as an important area for you guys to really understand where Rock can help, right? And this list of challenges that are faced by businesses time and time again are the things that are going to come up and ultimately slow down the funding process, right? So at Rock Financial, we pride ourselves in really eliminating this list, if I'm being honest with you, right? But before we get into exactly how we're going to help, let me give you some different factors or some different ways that you can get involved and you can kind of speed up the process for yourself, right? Well, number one thing is qualify and disqualify early, right? One of the best things that I learned is getting a no is just as good as getting a yes, as long as that no happens quickly, right? A fast yes or a fast no is exactly what we're looking for. Because no isn't no. No is not right now, if I'm being honest, in financing. Financing is not an if, it's a when. And when you think of financing, think of Rock. But no, at the end of the day, qualify or disqualify your clients very quickly. It's going to allow you to really be able to put the focus where it needs to be on those that do qualify, right? Second thing is have a preferred lender network. There's plenty of our partners who work with other providers out there. Plenty of our partners work at other providers out there, right? So feel free to have a network of options. If your network of options ends up being Rock's network of options, understand that we've built that out over a long period of time, and there's a major advantage to understanding who does what when and being able to pivot in those areas when needed. A ton of automation, right? The more when something happens, something else happens that you can set up within your process, the better, right? I'll go into more detail about exactly how we do that within our own process in a second here. But there's always areas of opportunity where when you do one thing, you have to do something else, right? Well, if those things can start to happen automatically, well, then definitely leverage that within your own process as much as possible, right? And the last thing is set clear expectations when it comes down to timeline for funds, when it comes down to access or yes or no, or am I even going to get approved for funding? When it comes to setting an expectation of rates, terms, how much money somebody's going to qualify for. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the holdup be, I thought I was getting X and it ended up being Y, right? Well, a lot of times expectation and reality need to be aligned with one another. And when those things are aligned, it makes the sales process and the funding process that much easier. So just keep these things in mind as you're working with a business owner, or you're working with the business owners within your network, right? Some things that actually come from moving quickly is speed is going to build trust. The longer you take to do something, the more it's going to look like you don't know what you have, that you don't know what's going on and you don't know what comes next, right? For us, we move extremely quick because we know that means that our borrowers are staying engaged and they're able to trust us that we can do the job for them, right? Faster payouts, meaning happy customers, right? The quicker you can get access to funding for a business, the quicker they're able to start using that funding, thus hopefully providing more advantageous opportunity for you for additional funding for that business in the future, or potentially even other referrals from that same customer in the future, right? So just keep that in mind. You're going to continue to build your pipeline. You're going to continue to build a process within funding. By moving quickly, you're going to actually increase your ability to keep customers happy, and ultimately get new customers from those existing customers that you're already working with, right? Some things that we want to point out, right, that also are advantageous to working with fast funding, right? It allows businesses to seize on time-sensitive opportunities. When funds are readily available, businesses can pivot more quickly, right? I can go from doing X to doing Y, or I can do both X and Y when I have access to funding that's timely, right? And the last part, like we talked about on the last slide, is higher customer satisfaction, right? So keep all these things in mind as you're kind of going through the different things within your own platform. Now to turn the page, let me teach you guys a little bit about Rock Financial and what we bring to the table when it comes to moving extremely quickly, right? I have seen deals apply for funding at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and capital in that business checking account before 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in under 4 hours, access to 250 grand in your account already. Now, that's a highly motivated borrower. It doesn't happen every single time. I wish it did. I'll be the first person to tell you. Those are my favorite types of deals, the ones that are able to move extremely quickly. We do have a highly motivated borrower, but it doesn't mean that that's what happens every single time, right? What I would actually point out is it's the efficiency that's created within the platform that actually means the most, right? Because we know where to go, what to do, and how to do it, it allows everything to work together. I'm going to give you an example of when I played college football, I was told it's about three things: alignment, assignment, and technique. You got to know where you got to be, what do you got to do, and how do you got to do it, right? We take that same approach to funding. If we know where we got to be, what we got to do, and how we got to do it, well, then it's just about the execution portion, right? And as we've continued to execute over time, we've invested more and more in technology that's allowed us to move more and more quickly and efficiently. So I'm going to get a little bit more specific here as we go into into the Rock Financial experience. But before we get there, don't take my word for it. If you want to know how quickly we move, or you want to know a little bit more about partnering with Rock and what others' experience is like, read this review on the on the screen here. Jump over to Google, jump into Trustpilot, look up Rock Financial. You will see that we have thousands of reviews. I don't know when this screenshot is from, but it says 482 Google reviews. Can we get an active number? Give me how many we actively have on Google right now, because that's not even close. I know it's at least double that. I'm pretty sure we're over 1,000 though on Google. I think it's no 1051 rings a bell. Is that Trustpilot I'm thinking of? 700. 700 Google reviews. So this is definitely an aged screenshot for sure. But 700 Google reviews, over 1,000 on Trustpilot. And it's not just, made up people that we created a Google account for and went and left a review. That doesn't happen here. You will see real reviews from real people that have had real customers or are real business owners that have utilized, Rock Financial. So don't take my word for it, although I have plenty of words for it. Go do your own research. Feel free to call me out, right? So a couple things that allow us to move extremely quickly, right? Number one is our Salesforce CRM. I saw somebody mention before, do I need a software or CRM? No, absolutely not. We give you direct access to our Salesforce CRM, and all of these tools that I'm about to tell you about are literally at your fingertips because of your partnership with Rock Financial. So we are big Salesforce users. Have been for years. Literally, I've been in the business for just about 10 years now. We've had Salesforce the entire time that I've worked here. So we have a fully customized Salesforce CRM. We have 9 full-time developers on staff that are constantly making updates, making sure that everything is being tracked, everything is being measured twice and cut once. That's probably the best analogy that I could give you. We're also big Oracle users for automated communication through text message and email. A lot of you guys probably got some of that email communication about this very webinar. So shout out to that and that portion of things, right? DocuSign. I remember when we fully adopted DocuSign here. When I first started in the business, we had 2 gigantic printers and a fax machine that always had a line of people at it waiting to send out applications or receive bank statements in an application, right? Now that does not happen. You literally can utilize DocuSign to sign contracts, to sign an application. We even have the ability to connect your banks through Plaid now, which is another way that we've added a layer of support back through you guys, is being able to connect your bank account directly through Plaid, similar to like one of those payment applications out there like Venmo or Zelle or QuickPay, right? You connect your bank, it pulls all the relevant information out. We then upload all of that information, aggregate all the data that we need. We share it with who it needs to be shared with, and we get decisions quickly and efficiently for all of our borrowers, right? Couple of pieces of proprietary technology, meaning we built it, we own it here at Rock. One is our loan analysis, where our loan analysis provides a breakdown of every product that we offer and how a business can go about qualifying for those things in the future and whether they're qualified for them right now or not, right? So for example, a very easy one to think of is accounts receivable financing, right? If your customer that you refer to us is a B2C business, right? Somebody that is business to consumer, meaning they're a restaurant, retail shop, right? They're working with consumers. Consumers pay for their goods up front and then are delivered those goods, right? I've never seen somebody hand a pizza across a counter and then say, "Okay, pay me in 30 days." I'm waiting for that pizza place. In case you were wondering, if somebody wants me to pay them 30 days from now for a pizza, I will gladly be the first person to do it. But no, so our loan analysis, if you referred over a restaurant, would say that accounts receivable financing is not available because you are not a B2B business, right? So our loan analysis breaks down all the products that are available and how a business owner could go about qualifying for them, or if they do qualify for them, tell them how they could take advantage of it, right? Our offer calculator. So once somebody has fully applied They've been approved. Let's say they were approved for multiple products or multiple different lenders approved them, right? We have a calculator feature that allows them to go in, select a particular offer, play with how much money they've qualified for, and ultimately allow them to choose a specific offer. When they do choose that offer, it will then let them know exactly what they need to do to ultimately gain access to that funding, right? Any final closing stipulations, anything that might need to be sent over on their behalf. So all of this is already built out for you, and there's so much that I'm missing. I can only put so much within these slides and really get a chance to articulate. But at the end of the day, what I really want you guys to understand is we've built all of this out with your feedback. We've built all of this out with the need for speed, right? Because if we're the one that's holding things up, well, then it's only going to hinder that business even more, right? So we've simply taken your feedback, our partners, our business owner customers, the lending partners that we work with, and we give you direct access to all of this technology and all of this right at your fingertips. So definitely excited to get a chance to explain some of that to you guys, get a chance to go over some of that stuff with you guys. The last thing that I want to point out, though, that has to do with like technology, automation, just kind of staying in that same understanding is our lender network, right? All the banks and lenders that we work with. When you work with Rock Financial, you are literally gaining access from one to many. What I mean is we work with over 75 different banks and lenders. We're API'd with all of them, meaning that we're getting instantaneous submission and approval or decline decisions based on exactly what I was saying before, right? So let me walk you through a scenario. Right, I'm going to walk you through a scenario, and shout out to Emily. She's working on a resource for us for this. But basically, you are a referral partner for Rock. You take your landing page link and you save that as a contact for yourself. Soon you're going to get a video that's all about this, so don't worry, I got you. But you're going to save that link as a contact in your phone, right? When you have a business owner that is looking for funding, you simply share that contact with them that says, my business financing URL. You send that link to them. They complete that link. It's going to allow them to complete a DocuSign application. It's going to allow them to either upload bank statements or connect their bank via Plaid. When they do that and they've made it through those steps, our system takes over. It's automatically going to do a soft pull of their credit. It's going to review all of the information in terms of the financial information that we've gathered, and it's going to push that information to the lenders that make the most sense, all automatically. It literally happens as they click the button, right? And then at that point, you're able to see who's approving, who's declining, what is happening. And that's when they get their loan analysis. That's when our team is able to help them review their approvals and really ultimately make a decision on, how much money they're looking to gain access to, and ultimately what it would take to get access to that funding. So just wanted to paint that picture for you guys, how simple it could be, and that's really at their fingertips and at your fingertips as well. Couple quick things about who we help and how we help them, right? Some minimum requirements. We have a minimum of 3 to 6 months time in business. I'm a big proponent of 6, but 3 to 6 months time in business, at least $10,000 per month in revenue going into a business checking account. It has to be a business checking account. It has to have revenue, and it has to be for 3 to 6 months. Why? Because our banks and lenders are business funders, meaning that they can only fund a business checking account. They can only pull payments from a business checking account. So keep that in mind when you're referring business to Rock. We can't help any individuals. So definitely have to have exactly what I just mentioned. Couple other points that I wanted to make. We'll fund as little as $10,000 all the way up to $10 million plus. Funding is available in as little as 12 to 24 hours. And like we mentioned, you're getting access to over 75 different lenders. Some states and some industries that we do a lot of business in are right here in front of you. But basically, we do business in all 50 states and in every industry you could imagine. We even fund the cannabis industry for those that might be in states where it's legal for medical or recreational use. Remember, they do have to have all what I mentioned before, but as long as they do, there's really no industry restrictions or states that we're not able to help in, regardless of what others might have on their lending platforms. So just your overview of some things here for you guys, a way for you guys to understand the platform a little bit more, right? Some quick perks for you. Very simple process. You can be involved as much or as little as you'd like within that process. If somebody fills out your landing page because you shared it on social media and you don't want to be involved, all good. We will take that deal from open to close, and you will still get your commission as promised, as long as that's something that works for you. If you want to be more involved, right? You want to help gather documents. You want to be doing, conference calls with yourself and the borrower. Maybe you're at the business location. Get involved. All good with us. Feel free to make make that transition for yourself and for your customers as easy as possible. But get involved as much or as little as you'd like, and just know that we're going to be able to offer any type of funding that a small business could qualify for, more than anything, right? What types of funding am I talking about? Well, there's two different types. You have secured lending, things that require an asset, like asset-based loans, accounts receivable financing, equipment financing, SBA loans, commercial real estate funding. They all require some form of asset, right? Or assets for a business. So that's one type of financing. The other type is unsecured financing, a term loan, revenue-based financing, line of credit. Those are funding types that don't require any specific asset to be tied to the performance of the loan. What does that actually mean? It means that if somebody defaults, there is no real recourse for the lender. Right? If somebody defaults on a piece of commercial real estate or a commercial property, the bank takes that piece of real estate or the property, right? If somebody defaults on an SBA loan, they're taking everything. I don't know if you guys know that. They have what's called a blanket lien across all the assets. So they're taking everything, the SBA, right? The way that a term loan or a line of credit particularly work is if somebody defaults on that lender's out of the capital, and there is nothing for them to go and seize and be able to sell in the future, right? So that's why you typically see, rates go up a little bit with unsecured lending. You typically see terms come down a little bit, within those industries, is because that's just a riskier part of those, of the lending platform. So we offer it all. Feel free to put us to the test. Excited to help in any way, shape, or form that we can. If you are new and you're not partnered with us, scan this QR code on the screen here, especially if you sat through the whole webinar, at least get something out of it. Partner with Rock, right? Going too quick. Jump into the platform here, and would love to get a chance to chat with you in the future personally, and get a chance to do some business together in the future. The process is very simple. Our team will reach out in just a few moments after you scan this QR code and fill out that short form. Also, I don't know if you saw this, but for those of you that don't know, next month on this very webinar, in a month from now, I'm going to be giving out $5,000 cash sent to one of our affiliates simply for funding deals through Rock, right? So we're calling it our affiliate loyalty program. Basically, the more chances that you fund, the more deals that you funded in the first half of this year, the more chances you have to win. And we're doubling up the entries for this month, meaning that if you fund a deal from now through the end of June, you're getting 2 entries for every deal that you fund. So definitely excited to get a chance to to do that on the webinar next month and give away $5,000. That's definitely exciting. But also excited to work with you guys and, get the business owners within your networks funding. So take advantage of it. Get as many deals funded between now and the end of the month as possible, and you'll have as many chances as you possibly can to win $5,000. So definitely excited to mention that to you guys. If you are somebody that's just looking to have your questions answered, feel free to give us a shout. Jump over to the website, send us an email. We're definitely here to help, and excited to do so. So feel free to utilize us as a resource, and get a chance to interact with either your point of contact or get a point of contact to interact with. Definitely excited to be on with you guys next month. Make sure you're back here, and I'll be giving out $5,000. So definitely excited to be on with you guys. Have a great weekend, great day, and we'll certainly be on with you guys again soon. Thanks everybody, and have a good one.